I have been talking about my love for the Armani Eye Tints on my channel for a couple months at this point. I absolutely love this liquid eyeshadow so much. It is perfection to me, but I have seen some of your guys' comments about how buying one single eye tint for $39 is just kind of outrageous and not in your budget or how much you want to spend on one single eye tint, which I totally understand that. It is a lot of money. I did get mine during the Sephora sale, so I got 20% off, but I agree, $39 for this little tiny eye tint, it's kind of crazy. So when Makeup by Mario released their Master Mattes Longwear Cream Eyeshadow, I ended up picking up one of these to kind of compare them for you guys because this is only $25. So a little bit of information about both. The Armani Eye Tints, again, do retail for $39. You get 0.13 ounces or 3.9 milliliters. It does come in matte and metallic finishes. It has 19 total shades and they are matte or metallic. This is a matte one. This is in the shade 22 Cashew. Again, I love this. I've used it on my channel quite a few times. It blends out perfectly. It wears all day. I love this so much. So that's the Armani one. But I ended up picking up, obviously, one of the Makeup by Mario's. So these are only $25. However, you are getting a lot less product. You're getting 0.06 ounces or 2 milliliters. So 3.9 milliliters versus 2 milliliters. So you are getting less product for the less price tag. This only has matte shades and it also only comes in 10 shades. And this, I picked up the shade Taupe. Let's see how similar they are when I swatch them. Yeah, they're gonna be pretty similar next to each other. I did not intend for that to happen. Like, I wasn't trying to pick a shade close to the Armani one to compare them side by side for you shade wise, but more so formulation. So right off the bat, you can tell from the formulation that the Makeup by Mario one is very matte, very matte. The Armani one is matte as well, but just not as matte. As you can see, it is a little bit shinier. It's drying down, but this is like super flat matte, and this is just kind of more of a standard matte finish, if that makes sense. So let's start off with Armani just because it's the one I know and love. I've used this a bunch of times on my channel as well. Actually, I don't know if I've used it a bunch of times on my channel, but I've used it a bunch of times. I've used it a few times on my channel and a bunch of times off of camera. So I know this formulation very well. It blends out so easily, so fast, so quick. It doesn't get patchy on me. It lasts all day long. And the thing about it that I love is that it doesn't crease. It doesn't go into my eye creases at all. I mean, bam, done. Already blended out, wham, bam, done. That is so quick, so fast, so easy. I love this stuff. And I just like how light of a shade it is for me and my skin tone. Again, this is the shade 22 Cashew, just because it gives my skin or my eyes a little something on there. It looks like I, put myself together, put a little eyeshadow on, but you guys saw how fast, quick, and easy that blended out. So the Armani, I love. I've already talked about this a bunch of times on my channel. So the Makeup by Mario, I've used this a couple times. I don't love it as much. I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. I don't love it as much. So first of all, the components are definitely going to be different. The doe foots are going to be different. The Armani has more of a point. I like that because I can get really into the corner of my eye. But a doe foot's a doe foot. I can get into the corner of my eye with this one as well. They're both flat. This one's a little slanted. So I do think this is an elevated doe foot and an elevated component, but also it's higher of a price tag. So with the Makeup by Mario, I do the same thing. I just kind of put it on my eye, and you can tell right away that it is more matte. I'm going to wipe off my brush, but use the same brush for it. This one is a little bit harder to blend, you guys. I'm gonna be honest. It does blend. You can get it there, but it takes a little bit more effort than the Armani, as you can see. And I do think on my eyes, the Makeup by Mario gets a little tiny bit patchy. It really does. Most eye products like this do get patchy on my eye. Can you see it right there on the corner? Most of them do get patchy on my eye. That's why the Armani one was so exciting for me when I first tried it, because it doesn't do that. I've tried other, even sticks, like eyeshadow sticks, liquid eyeshadows, like this cream eyeshadows, and a lot of times they do end up getting patchy on me. I'm gonna add a little tiny bit more just to try to combat that. The shades are actually pretty similar. The Makeup by Mario one is a little bit deeper and more intense, but I also did add a little bit more, so maybe don't Maybe don't listen to that part. It is just a little bit thicker and moussier and drier and more matte of a formula. So because of that, it is a little bit harder to blend out in my humble opinion. I do think you can get it there. I do think this looks nice. It is a little bit patchy still on like the corner there. But honestly, from far away, you can't really tell. Like no one's gonna, if I put this on both my eyes and wore it out, which I have, I've worn this, I think 3 or 4 times at this point. I think this is like my 5th time putting it on. If I wore this out in public, no one's going to look at me and be like, your eyeshadow's patchy. You know what I mean? I can just see it because I'm comparing them side by side and being nitpicky, you know? For the most part, the Makeup by Mario has worn nicely on me the couple of times I have worn it. It doesn't really fade throughout the day. Neither one of them fade throughout the day. Neither one of them really get creasy. They last for a very long time. So here's a direct comparison side by side. The Makeup by Mario versus the Armani. I do think they both still look good. Again, the Makeup by Mario is a little bit darker and more intense, but that could have just been the application, and the shade is a little bit darker and more cool toned. The Armani is a little bit more warm toned. But overall, I do like them both. I am going to wear them both for the rest of the day for you and come back at the end of the day just to show you how they both wore. But upon just, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you my opinion right now because I have worn both of these multiple times. I do know my opinion. I like the Makeup by Mario. I do. I think it's a nice formulation, especially for the cheaper price tag. Like if you have a Sephora gift card, you can pretty much pay for the whole thing, the $25 with the gift card, and then pay a couple dollars in tax, which is nice. It is definitely a lower price tag, more palatable price tag than $39 for an eye tint. I do understand that. So if you are balling on a budget, you have a gift card, or you just think spending $29 is outrageous, I totally understand. I don't think you would go wrong getting the Makeup by Mario. Just know it is drier of a formula. It's thicker. It's more moussey of a formula. And it is going to be a little bit harder to blend out and get a little bit, at least in my experience, patchier on the eyes than the Armani. The Armani, to me personally, it's perfection. I know it's pricey and it's expensive, but to me, it's worth that price tag. I use this all the time. If I had to choose between the two, I would definitely choose the Armani. But again, I understand for the price tag difference, not wanting to spend that. And also, if you just want like matte shades, you know, Makeup by Mario only has matte, so Armani has metallic. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do like a full day wear test. I'm going to come back at the very end of the day, show you how they both wore, if they faded at all, if they creased at all, anything like that. So see you at the end of the day. Alrighty, I've had this eyeshadow on for quite a bit of time. I've had it on for probably about 9 or 10 hours. So it is still looking pretty good, both of them. I will say the Makeup by Mario ended up creasing a bit more on my eye than it has in the past. I do think that is because my base for my eye makeup today was Natasha Denona concealer, and then I set it down with my L'Oreal Infallible blurring powder. I normally use my Ulta Beauty Matte Veil Longwear Eye Primer. That's pretty much all I use to prime my eyes, typically, because I usually do my eyes first. But today I did like a wear test on the Natasha Denona new High Glam foundation, and so I was kind of filming like 2 videos in one, so I didn't do my eye makeup first. So I think having the different base is making it crease a little bit more than it has in the past. When I use the eye primer, it has worn a little bit better in the past. But for the most part, I mean, if you were just wearing this out like to work or on an all-day sort of thing, I mean, yes, it's creasing, but you can't really tell when I'm just looking at you talking. So I do still think it wore nicely. The Armani side looks pretty perfect. There's maybe a tiny bit of creasing, but again, I think it was more the base. So pretty much like I said earlier, overall, I do still prefer the Armani. I do think it's worth the splurge in my opinion. The Sephora sale is coming up in a couple of weeks, so maybe it could be something that you get 10, 15, or 20% off of, or if you have a gift card or anything like that. I do still prefer the Armani, but if you do not want to spend that money or whatever your, reasoning behind it is, I do like the Makeup by Mario. Yeah, I just wanted to compare the two for you guys since I know that I've had quite a few comments about the Armani one being too pricey for just like one single shadow. I wanted to pick up the Makeup by Mario to compare them side by side for you. I do recommend both. I do think both are nice. I do think you're going to get a long-lasting, pretty eye look out of either one you decide to go for. I have only tried these 2 shades. Like I have not tried any other shades from either line, so do keep that in mind. It is based off of 22 Cashew and Taupe. So Hopefully this was helpful for you in any way. If you did have your eye on the Armani and liked it and you wanted more like of a cheaper alternative, let me know down below in the comments, have you tried either one of them? And if you have, what your thoughts are, or if you've tried different shades from them, because especially the Armani, I think I might want to try like one or two other shades. I haven't fully decided yet if I'm going to pick another one up or not. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome. I love you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.